So a couple of Chiefs players have gone a bit under the radar throughout camp and keep making plays. One of them has gotten better every year, while the other has a unique opportunity to make some big plays on offense this season. Well, in today's video, I'll break all this down as I look at even more standout players and highlights from day 13 of Chiefs training camp. But first, how about those? Alright, so day 13 of training camp came and went, and was sadly a shortened outdoor practice because of thunderstorms in the area. That did cause fans to have to leave early, and the players finished up indoors. But with that being said, there's still some great highlights from today. Gotta talk about a couple standout players climbing the ranks as well that could have some interesting use in the offense, and there were some new additions to the injury report. Sadly, 2 new additions, with those being wide receiver Rashee Rice and linebacker Cam Jones. And yes, you heard that right. Rashee Rice is dealing with a groin issue. That's what the Chiefs said after practice, and I couldn't get official clarity on Cam Jones. Pete Sweeney of Arrowhead Pride is the one that said, hey, didn't see Cam Jones out there, but Matt McMullen, the Chiefs senior reporter, did not have Cam Jones on the injury report, so not really sure what's going on with that. So yeah, you never love to hear that your team's wide receiver 1 is dealing with a groin issue because those can linger, but I'm hoping it's more of a minor strain and nothing more. Regardless, I'm not going to be overly concerned, considering Rice is probably going to start the season out suspended, and we should probably hear from the NFL on that pretty soon. Minnesota's wideout Jordan Addison, for example, just got suspended for 3 games yesterday, so I would think Rice's gets announced here pretty quickly, and I'm bracing myself for about 4 to 6 games is what his suspension is going to end up being. That doesn't change how I see the wide receiver room playing out once roster cutdowns happen either. The biggest X factor in all of this, though, is always injuries. They can happen any practice, any play, or in any one of these 3 preseason games. I obviously hope the team stays extremely healthy out there, and we'll talk more about the wide receiver room in a bit, but the rest of the players who didn't practice were the same as yesterday. Wide receiver Hollywood Brown, ankle, linebacker Drue Tranquill, back, tight end Jake Brenningstool, hamstring, and cornerback Christian Fulton, knee. He's still on the PUP list as well, but should be returning rather quickly, at least that's the hope. 2 players did return yesterday, worth mentioning, and also worked in today, with that being tight end Jared Wiley, who was dealing with knee swelling on the knee that he had his ACL repaired. So good news to see him stacking days. Had to say that because you guys love it when I say stacking days in the comments. And then safety Deon Bush also returned yesterday. But yeah, if you look at all the injuries here, that's 2 wide receivers, pretty key ones on the injury report. Rice being your wide receiver 1, and Hollywood you're perceived to be wide receiver 3 after Xavier Worthy. Well, the good news here is that both Rice and Hollywood were among those in the back corner and could be seen working with a medicine ball. Drue Tranquill was in there as well. So it's typically a good sign to see players in there working. More concerning would be if you didn't see them out there at all. Now, regarding Christian Fulton, who's been on the PUP list all camp long, he might soon be coming off the list, maybe this week, possibly next, according to Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest. But even with that, once he's off the PUP list, he's going to have to ramp up, and it's going to take a week or 2 for him to be a full go out there. I think the ideal situation for Fulton is for him to be healthy enough to get some snaps in a preseason game, even if it's the last one. Just get some game reps before the start of the season. That would be a very welcomed addition to the cornerback room as well. I mean, Spags himself said last week that they are still seeing what they have in that room after basically Trent McDuffie and Jaylen Watson. So yeah, Christian Fulton returning would be ideal. Coach Spags spoke to the media today and told them he cannot wait for this upcoming preseason game on Saturday against the Arizona Cardinals, because going against the same guys day in and day out at camp practices can get a bit predictable at times. That's why with some of these players, he's still figuring out what they truly can and cannot do. Well, preseason will help answer some of those questions, and the biggest thing he's looking for out there for his defense is, can they get off their blocks and tackle? Defensive back Nazeeh Johnson spoke with the media today as well. He's been rotating in with the first team defense at times, allowing McDuffie to slide into the slot. And I think he's had 4 pass breakups from camp videos over the last week or so. His stock is definitely going up, even though he is a bit of a controversial name amongst some Chiefs fans. Nazeeh said he feels a lot healthier now this year compared to last year, being another year removed from the ACL repair that he had. He doesn't even think about his knee now, whereas last year he was dealing with knee swelling here and there, and that lingered on into the season. But now he feels even better than he did prior to his injury. That's the case for most of these guys coming off of an injury like that. Look at Charles Omenihu, for example. He played last year eventually, but but even he would say he didn't quite look himself out there and he didn't perform how he wanted to. Last year was also Nazeeh's first year playing corner in the NFL, kind of thrown into the fire after the team traded away L'Jarius Sneed, and then Jaylen Watson broke his ankle. You're thin at corner and you're throwing the guy in there for whatever reason. Joshua Williams has fallen down the depth chart, has continued to, and maybe could be a potential trade candidate. We'll see as time goes on there. Anyway, back to Nazeeh. He learned a lot from that whole experience last year, saying he was nervous being the new guy in the room, but he's worked hard this offseason, knows the system well, and can play much more free out there, which will allow him to make even more plays. Nazeeh also gave some praise to the current wide receiver room, saying they've got speed all over the place and will give opposing teams headaches this season for sure. Hollywood, Worthy, and then Thornton is the three he shouted out, with him saying Thornton is going crazy right now at these practices. And yeah, Thornton has been the biggest riser at camp, maybe aside from Josh Simmons. He's continuing to earn Mahomes' trust, and with Rashee Rice and Hollywood Brown sidelined, I'm sure he's working in even more with the first-team offense. He caught a pass down the right sideline today in sevens, and then he had a great 1v1 rep against Jaylen Watson on the opposite side of the field as well. 1v1s like this do favor the offensive skill position players, but still, Thornton has done stuff like this against basically anybody. Trent McDuffie, Jaylen Watson, Nazeeh Johnson, doesn't matter. He's had a great camp so far, and if the guy stays healthy, I do not see how the Chiefs can leave him off the initial 53-man roster. Now, every receiver lower on the depth chart benefits from being available while others are sidelined, and an undrafted free agent that's been a bit quiet is Elijah Badger. Well, here he could be seen today catching a ball deep down the field after a double move being made on the third-round rookie Nohl Williams, and both of these guys should be pretty fun to watch in these preseason games. Badger for me right now would be a nice practice squad candidate so he can continue developing in the system, and you never know what could happen for him in the future. And honestly, tight end Jake Brenningstool, I didn't talk about him earlier other than he's sidelined still with a hamstring. Maybe he's an IR stash and could be a guy that also could grow in the system for a year, kind of like they did with Justin Ross. Anyway, back to Nohl Williams. Spags shared that being out on the edge, so as an outside corner in the NFL, is tough duty, and Nohl is currently going through an adjustment phase. However, he's an aggressive guy and they like that first and foremost. Then they'll see how the rest of it goes, adding in that preseason will be good for him. He said the same of defensive end Ashton Gillotte in regards to preseason reps, but then he said Ashton's getting more comfortable out there over time, throwing him in there with the ones, so the first team D-line from time to time has helped build up on his confidence as well. Another guy growing in confidence is running back Brashard Smith. He is currently fourth in the running back room from a depth perspective, often getting reps in the run game after Isaiah Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, and then Elijah Mitchell. However, my belief is he could be used more in the pass game to create an intentional mismatch and coverage against a linebacker. And honestly, this 1v1 rep right here really shows what could translate into a game for Brashard Smith. How often it happens his rookie year, I'm not sure, but I would not be surprised to see some deep shots taken Brashard's way, like this pass here, as Brashard flew by linebacker Jack Cochran for a catch down the field. And then here's another one of Brashard going up against linebacker Cooper McDonald, winning to the outside for a short gain. He's done this multiple times at camp so far, and I know a lot of this has been against the second or third team linebackers, but I am telling you, this will happen in a game more than once this season because Brashard Smith is a converted receiver that runs a 4.39 40. He is going to win more times than not if he's lined up against a linebacker in coverage. Mahomes will see it pre-snap, and it's going to happen, mark my words. Now, my future ideal role for him is the third down back, a role he will have to earn by showing the team he can improve in his pass protection. You can see him working at it here in today's practice, but it's going to take time. Maybe that's a next year thing, with this year being more of a niche package guy on offense and then helping on special teams via kick returns, and maybe even as the punt returner as well. He doesn't have a ton of experience there, but he is in the rotation on punt returns, and a couple of standout preseason games from him back there as the team's punt returner could definitely have him competing against Nico Remigio for that punt returner spot. Sky Moore is also getting worked in as the punt returner, but no thank you. Please, God, no. Calm down, Cole. Anyway, to be clear, I think that's Nico's spot to lose right now, the punt returner. You just never know what could happen during these preseason games. And Travis Kelce, he had some pretty high praise for Brashard Smith today, agreeing that he made a bunch of plays at practice today. Kelce said he's a guy that has all the athletic talent. They love what they've seen so far from him as far as his growth. They throw a lot at these guys, and in KC's offense, the running backs are expected to be pretty well-rounded. But here's what he said specifically. He said, quote, "I think he's just going to keep getting better and better as these weeks go on, and you'll see it in these preseason games too. He believes," talking about Kelce, therefore, I believe. This is Kelce's 13th year in the NFL, and everyone has been complimenting his work ethic out there. He is one of the biggest veteran leaders, presence, whatever you want to call it. Kelce is doing all that and more for his team. And Kelce said, hey, I'm just doing all this because we're trying to go out there and win Super Bowls. It starts in the offseason, and they build upon that at camp to hopefully help that all snowball to becoming the best team possible by January or February, i.e. the playoffs. He noted they still have a long ways to go, but preseason will help test some things out as they get right, get into football shape, and mentally tough. Kelce then spoke very highly of Noah Gray in particular. He was asked about Robert Tonyan and Noah Gray, and he did have some nice things to say about Tonyan. He's awesome to be around, always in a good mood, has lots of energy, and is ready to play some football the right way. But then about Noah Gray, he said, if you've been out there, you've noticed how good Noah Gray's been. He's really taken things up to the next level. He's an absolute stud, and quote, I don't think I've seen him lose a single rep yet. He is awesome right now. He and Pat are on the same page as well, and it's been fun to watch. Well, some Noah Gray praise. You love to see it. I shared yesterday that Noah is having a pretty solid, albeit under the radar camp. Kelce confirmed as much today, and Gray is going to be one to watch this season, especially when defenses forget about him and focus too much on somebody like Travis Kelce, which happens at least once or twice every single game. So Noah Gray's stock is definitely up, as is, honestly, Robert Tonyan's. He made another one-handed catch today, has had a great camp, and this is like the fourth or fifth one-handed catch he's made. It's not all about one-handed catches, but just about standing out and stacking good days. He spoke with the media yesterday, and the tight end room is going to be a very intriguing position group to watch throughout the rest of camp and preseason. Anyway, from there, Travis shared that he loves being able to get away to St. Joe, Missouri training camp to forget about the outside noise and focus in on the upcoming season with the guys. It makes everybody better, and he enjoys seeing Mahomes out there leading the team as well. Mahomes' mind, this is what Kelce said, Mahomes' mind is always moving fast. He's always a step ahead, and his arm is alive right now. He often knows where he's going before the snap even happens, and as the obvious leader out there, he's helping set the standard and lead by example. Kelce then shifted his thoughts to Josh Simmons, telling the local media that Josh is a tough guy, one hell of an athlete. He pops out on film, powerful, explosive, and it's cool to see him take all the notes that he's getting and try to perfect all the techniques he's been given out there on the field. You can tell this game means something to him, and he's making the strides to go out there and get better. Well, he's continuing to work in as the team's left tackle, solo, no competition, and today Jawan Taylor was the guy working in solely at right tackle, no splitting of reps. Meanwhile, Jalen Moore kicked inside and split reps with Kingsley Suamataia at left guard. Moore is currently shaping up to be the next man up, your swing tackle of sorts in case of injury, and if needs be, play along the interior. So the more work at guard for him is probably not a bad thing considering he's never really done it before. Now, another guy to keep eyes on is the running back, fullback hybrid Carson Steele. I haven't had him making any of my 53-man roster projections up to this point, but I have said every time, if Andy Reid wants a fullback on the roster, Steele is for sure going to be on there. Preseason is going to be huge for Steele, in my opinion, and Carson told the media today that he wants to show he can do everything in these preseason games, a big contributor on special teams, playing fullback, running back, whatever's needed. He wants to show he's here to do anything he can to help the team win. Heading into year 2, Steele told the media that he feels stronger, better, faster, knows the offense better, and that's helped him progress even further. He's been working on his fullback role and special teams, but also on his skill set as a running back. Steele's goal is to be a Swiss Army knife for the team out there and to take that to the next level in year 2. And I would love to know what you guys think about Steele in the comments down below. Do you think he makes the roster, or how do you have the running back room shaping up at this point in time? I will say Elijah Mitchell, missing all of last year, has him reportedly coming along a bit more slowly than some anticipated. So I do think preseason could very well be a deciding factor between Elijah Mitchell and Carson Steele. But let me know your thoughts on that, what you think Brashard Smith can contribute to this offense and or on special teams this season in the comments down below. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?